is DArlandoFortune, and this is another inspirational talk. I'm going to welcome you guys back here to these inspirational talks, and I want to get right into today's topic because I get kind of excited about this topic. We're talking about food. I love food. I love to eat. I really love to eat. I mean, just thinking about eating is making me hungry right now. But you know what? We're going to specifically talk about breakfast food, one of my favorite meals. No matter what time of the day, I love eating breakfast. But today, specifically, we're talking about, should we be getting up and eating breakfast? All right, so this thing about breakfast, where did it all start? And if we really get back and look into the details of where breakfast began or why we're even eating breakfast, you find some interesting things because as we believe that Romans didn't even eat breakfast. They really felt like it was like one meal a day that you should be eating. So there goes that theory. You don't have to have breakfast. And then in Europe, in Europe in the olden times, it wasn't believed that breakfast was that important of a meal either. It was really more for those who had the money to eat breakfast, who could afford breakfast, they would eat breakfast. Those who maybe laborers need to eat to may need to eat to go out in the fields or wherever they're going to work. But for the most part, it wasn't that big of a deal. You may or may not eat it. If you did, you did. If you didn't, you didn't. It wasn't that big a deal. So why is it such a big deal that now we want to hear that breakfast is the best meal of the day, the most important meal of the day? You know, we can actually attribute that phrase to Mr. Kellogg. He was trying to create brand awareness of his cereal that he was trying to make popular. And so they was running this advertising saying that this is the great meal of the day, that it's going to promote health and all these other things. Some other things we won't even talk about what it would help to promote and help defend against if you had a great breakfast. He was really trying to get people to eat more of his cereal. Now the marketing worked and it took off. You know, Kellogg's is a well-known brand for cereals and a whole assortment of cereals. I mean, I'll have some of my favorite cereals come from Kellogg's as a kid, right? But the thing about this whole situation is that it's not that big of a deal. People want to misinterpret the studies that show that they try to make some correlation between obesity in children and eating breakfast, and that if you eat two breakfasts a day, child eats two breakfasts a day, then they're more likely to study better and not be as obese. But there's really no correlation between the two. People are just pulling straws trying to get kids to be more healthy and try to make people more aware of the obesity problem going on in the world right now. But that doesn't mean that there's a correlation between the breakfast and obesity. Because if we really look at the situation, it doesn't necessarily mean as much about what time we're eating as it does as much about what we're eating. You see, it's the things that we're eating that are causing the most damage to us. Okay, and the frequency of how much we're eating will also determine, you know, the level of our metabolism and things of this nature. So my question to you is, what is it that you're eating in the morning? You see, if you're eating something in the morning, come to find out there was a study done that I think it was done by the Food Association with restaurants, dealing with restaurants. And what they found out is the top 5 things. Actually, there's top 10 things, but the top 5 things that people eat, Americans eat, are coffee. They have cold cereal, juice, milk, and then bread. These are the top 5 things that Americans say that they consume if they have breakfast in the morning, which is really not a meal. I mean, coffee gets you all pumped up, and I admit I have a cup of coffee early in the morning if I'm waking up to write at 5:30 in the morning. It's part of my process, though. It's not something that I have to have. It's part of my process of getting into the mood of writing. You know, Code cereal, I still love Code cereal. As a child, I used to watch all these crazy commercials, the Toucan Sam and the Cookie Monster and the Rice Krispie, the 3 little characters going on Rice Krispies. I love the Kellogg's Pops commercials. Wheaties was my thing when you had all the, you know, the Jordan and all the different athletes, and they were on the Bucks covers of the Wheaties boxes. I wanted to be like them, so I love those. Yeah, but all these commercials didn't tell us about the harmful side effects of eating so much sugar. And I'm not talking about you having sugar highs and crashing, as kids may do, but I'm not talking about you getting necessarily diabetes necessarily from eating this cereal. But what I'm saying is that having all this processed sugar into our body is bad for us in the long run. It doesn't really help us in the morning to provide us what we need for energy and to help sustain a healthy body. Okay. Now, the next thing they said was juice and milk. Now, these two things are a little different. Unless you're doing your own juicing of your own fruits and vegetables or whatever it may be in the morning, you're really getting some old concentrated water, concentrated with extra stuff added in there and a lot of nutrients stripped out of there in the process of concentrating the juice. You're not really getting 100% juice as a bottle or label may say. Okay, there's a 100% juice that they put in there, but that doesn't mean the whole bottle is 100% juice. Okay, if you've ever squeezed an orange, it's not the same juice that you get from a freshly squeezed orange and the juice you get that says 100%. Okay, it's not the same. So you're not really getting all the nutrients there. And then if you come to think about milk, we're not cows, we're not goats, we're not any other type of animal. We are humans. Okay, so we should be consuming breast milk from a human. Okay. So our body doesn't really digest those enzymes, the things that come along with other animals' milks. Maybe you're talking about getting it from soy milk or coconut milk, things of these natures. That's a different type of milk we can consume and digest better. So think about doing that. Now, in the bread theory is that most people, again, it's probably a piece of toast or a bagel. They're going out the door. Of all those 5 things, that would be the best thing, I would believe, unless you're eating, again, juicing your own fruit, drinking the right milk, or you are, as far as your Code cereal, is a healthy cereal, not the one that's just full of sugar, Another thing, y'all, stop worrying about all the donuts and the jellies, the fruit-flavored pastries and things. They're not helping you. They're really not helping you. Matter of fact, I'd rather you not eat breakfast than eat those sugars and things of that nature. It's not good for you. So when it all comes down to it, whether you eat breakfast in the morning or you don't eat breakfast in the morning, it's not really affecting you one way or the other. It's really more of your preference. I remember as a child, I did not really like eating breakfast. It kind of like, when I first woke up, it's kind of like messed up my stomach. My stomach would feel uneasy when I first woke up. And most people are similar to that. So it's understandable that if you're waiting to the last minute, hitting the snooze button, and then rolling out of bed like, oh my God, I gotta get ready to get dressed for work, and you brush your teeth real quick, you don't have time to eat breakfast, and you're probably not even hungry because you just woke up. I get that. That makes sense, right? But if you're getting up enough time, you're getting your exercise in, you're getting enough rest, you should probably be eating your breakfast. For most of you who are exercising out there, your diet plan is one of the most important pieces of you getting healthy. Whether that's to gain weight or to lose weight, your diet is one of the most important pieces, if not the most important pieces, outside of sleep and rest, to you getting a healthy body. But outside of that, most of you are not exercising. Okay, just laying it out there. You ain't exercising. Who don't know who you trying to fool? Oh, I walked this week. You ain't exercised. Okay, just keep it at that. Making a consistent effort to exercise, a different thing. So not eating breakfast in the morning or eating breakfast in the morning, it doesn't really make that big of a deal. It's what you're eating. Be more focused on what it is that you're eating, and you're going to find yourself having more energy. The point of eating food is to provide energy and the sustenance that we need to maintain a healthy body and do the things that we want to do in our life throughout that day. So eat appropriately when you feel hungry. All right, man. So I hope that served you with this. And if I have served you, please leave some comments. Or if you have any feedbacks about what I just discussed today as far as this food, what do you have breakfast in the morning, your comments, your ideas, what your thoughts are, please go ahead and leave your comments down here below on this post. Or you can always go to DArlandoFortune.com and leave your comments there. And while you're there, go ahead and check out some other articles on there on how to live the life that you've always wanted. Because it's always in all my videos and my trainings. You can do, you can be, you can have anything you want in this world. You just got to believe. You can live a life of no doubt, just blessings, and I'll show you how right here. See y'all next time. Love you.